Please tell us that you've read Marvel Comics' ongoing 4-issue comic book series Predator: The Last Hunt. In fact, the 3rd issue of the comic book series is currently regarded as one of the best, if not the best issue of Marvel's Predators comics line. So much so that this particular issue is what we'd like to address as an unrestrained slaughterfest packed to the brim with everything a Predator fan will fancy. Written by Ed Brisson, penciled by Francesco Manna, and inked by Eric Arciniega, Predator: The Last Hunt happens to be a part of a multi-arc storyline, one that began with Predator: Day of the Hunter and was followed by Predator: The Preserve. Anyway, this brings us to the main content of today's video, where we will be essentially putting stress on the 3rd issue of Predator: The Last Hunt, which features a rather terrifying bioweapon that the Predators have at their disposal in order to take out entire armies. And in case you still don't get it, we're talking about the nasty looking, highly aggressive pack of Hellhounds, and in this video we'll explore them from the latest comic issue that they've appeared in, along with their other appearances in movies, and shed some light on their anatomical facts as well. This is going to be a very interesting exploration, so we suggest you stay tuned until the very end of this video. Are you ready? Let's begin. Now, before we go into our explanation, we have a humble request. If you like our content and find it informative, we'd greatly appreciate your support through a subscription to our channel. Your small click will make a big difference for us. Thank you very much. Now let's begin. Predator's most terrifying bioweapon unleashed. Okay, so before we go into exploring the 3rd issue of Predator: The Last Hunt, here's a little recap of the events that have taken place in the first 2 issues so that we're all on the same page moving forward. Our main character happens to be Theta Berwick, who is more like a veteran Predator hunter in the comic series. For years, Theta has not only hunted the deadliest and most feared hunters in all the universe, but killed many of them while pursuing her search for the one who was responsible for slaughtering her parents 27 years previous. So by the time we get to see her in this comic series, she's already lost her arm in a face-off against the Predators and now has a prosthetic in its place. Theta is seen accompanied by Paolo, whom she had earlier found in the Predators' game reserve planet, and it's fitting to say that Paolo has been with her in her mission against the Predators ever since. Now, as we delve deeper into the storyline, we realise that the years have taken their toll on Theta, and in no manner does she have any plans of letting the Predators kill her and have her as a trophy. Worried that she doesn't have what it takes to fight and beat the Predators for much longer, she has Paolo concoct a poison vial for her to resort to and thereby deny the Predators their honourable kill and hang her skull and spine inside their spaceship. Anyway, Theta's destiny brings her along with Paolo to Mabu, where she not only comes across the Predators' supply ship but also uncovers their stasis chambers. So for years, the Predators have been keeping people in stasis, or in other words, keeping their prey in general on ice for decades to eventually release them and hunt them down in turn. With Theta's mission to save the human captives from Predator's game preserve, she eventually crosses paths with John Schaefer, or in other words, Dutch's older brother, be more precise. Now, to everyone wondering what exactly John is doing donning a half Hawaiian shirt on a Predator's game planet that's too far into the reaches of space, well, it's soon revealed that John, along with 50 other people, each of whom John had managed to get out of their stasis pods, have been stuck there for ages. John had been pretty hopeful that Theta would be rescuing everybody from that damned planet. However, with Theta revealing to everyone that she wishes to take a look into the main stasis farm in Glenelg and assess the situation to get a fair idea of how many people need rescuing all in all and how many Predators they're actually dealing with, John assembles a group for a 2-week return trip. With the crew reaching Glenelg and in due course the facility, Theta and Paolo volunteer to go in first to check things out. Of course, this doesn't sit well with crew members Licia, Alejandro and Sen, but John calms them down. As for Theta and Paolo, it doesn't take the duo too long to understand that the whole thing has of course been nothing but a trap for them and the crew members, and they've walked right into it because the super predator, who's on the loose, precisely wanted the humans to find him in the first place and not the other way around. Well, now that a seasoned hunter like Theta, who mind you has her own predator armor, has her back up against the wall, can she gain victory? Of course, this brings us finally to issue number 3 of Predator: The Last Hunt, which has the viciously deadly Super Yautja, the Nightmare Hunter, unleashing his terrifying bioweapon to take out the entire crew. Predator: The Last Hunt issue number 3 explored. The third installment makes it immediately clear that the Nightmare Hunter will effortlessly live up to his name. Appearing as someone bigger, stronger and far more deadly, Nightmare Hunter springs into action right away, gorily dismembering members of the crew one after the other. To look at the whole thing and call it a bloody slaughter would be an understatement, so here we are to take you through every panel of the comic to give you a fair idea of. This third issue begins with the members of the crew believing that they can easily outnumber the super predator, given that it's a 20-to-1 ratio? Well, of course they're wrong, and despite Theta and Paolo both screaming and urging them not to engage in a battle against the super predator, the crew members make that inevitable mistake, which leads to most of them dying brutally at the hands of the Oucha. The following panels offer a grisly display of unadulterated carnage, with Nightmare Predator using his double wrist blades to the best of his abilities. All of a sudden, the readers find Alejandro shooting the super predator in the head at point blank range. While this does give the viewers a faint beacon of hope, Nightmare Hunter emerges unfazed by the ambush, and as an act of retaliation, he drives his wrist blades into Alejandro's face, giving him a ghastly death in the process. With Nightmare Predator turning his attention to the remaining members of the crew, he uses some kind of high-pitched whistling device, and that in turn has one of the doors of the facility open up, and a pack of vicious-looking hellhounds emerge out, ready to attack the group and leave their guts for garters. Guns don't really seem to have any effect on these creatures, and the ferocious beasts end up butchering literally anyone that they set their eyes on. This naturally becomes a little bit too much, even for Theta, for that matter, and she tells John that they need to retreat right away. With John initially not ready to do so, Theta forcibly makes him understand that nobody will survive if they don't retreat, and that it's always better to devise a plan of attack instead of running around and getting picked off one by one. John informs Theta that the spacecraft Sandpiper is 10 kilometers away and that it would be impossible for the duo to outrun the super predator and the Hellhounds for that long. In the meantime, Paolo gets attacked by one of the Hellhounds, and while it does look like he's about to meet his end at the hands of this hound, it's only after a tiresome battle between the duo that Paolo finally manages to get the upper hand, killing the creature by piercing a sharp weapon into its eye. John, on the other hand, also gets knocked out by one of the Hellhounds, which finally leads Theta and the Nightmare Predator to come face to face briefly for the first time. We get a good look at the super predator, who is massive in size. His eyes are fiery red and kind of locked onto his target. And that's not all. This super predator even has armored tusks, a plasma cannon that pretty much looks ready to fire, 2 serrated blades on both wrists, and to add to this, a katana too. The latter part, don't ask us why. Now, while our eyes are locked on the deadly looking super predator, we don't really pay attention to a hellhound that is lunging itself towards Theta. Of course, Theta doesn't even have the slightest intention of dying at the hands of a hellhound, especially not after she's been fighting predators for such a long time. So while the finale of the 3rd issue has Theta trying her best to incapacitate this highly aggressive hound, Paolo, on the other hand, has found the spaceship Sandpiper, but it's up in flames, which goes without saying happens to be the act of a super predator. Hellhounds in Predator movie. Truth be told, the Hellhounds, despite their brief appearance in Nimrod Antal's 2010 action sci-fi film Predators, made quite the impression. As seen in the movie, these exceedingly aggressive, always found roaming in a pack, dog-like alien creatures were used by Tracker, one of the super predators, principally as a hunting tool. Tracker used the Hellhounds to flush out his prey while he and the other super predators conducted their ritualistic hunting games on the Game Preserve planet. In the movie, these quadrupedal extraterrestrial species are seen controlled by Tracker, who has an extremely high-pitched whistling device, ensuring that the Hellhounds don't kill his prey. These Hellhounds have large horns and spikes on their bodies, making them even more nasty looking. They have scales on their bodies too, but despite that, they still resemble dogs in a weird way. From having a high pain tolerance level to being very resilient, the hounds are often seen surviving wounds that would otherwise prove to be fatal to us regular beings on Earth. But those of you who've seen the film are bound to remember the exceptionally fast moving creatures actually getting hit with an M134 minigun amidst other weapons. Also, while these creatures are seen bleeding red just like humans, they are known to bear resistance against the acidic blood of the xenomorphs, leaving no shred of that particular prey intact. What are the differences between predator hounds and hellhounds? While both are used by the super predators and deployed for the same function, predator hounds and hellhounds are way different. Predator hounds, unlike hellhounds, are chimeric canines that are created through hybridization techniques. The most notable thing about the predator hounds is the dreadlock on their head, besides their tanned hide and green blood. The predator hounds, just like the super predators, have an exoskeletal armor that has the power to deflect bullets. We get to have a good look at the predator hounds, both in the 5-issue limited crossover comic book series Archie vs. Predator 2, as well as Shane Black's 2018 sci-fi film The Predator. While the comic version of the Predator Hounds didn't really live up to its name, the movie version did. In fact, the Predator Hounds are also better at tracking tasks, even through rough territory for long distances, because as seen in the movie, they are effortlessly able to locate the fugitive predator's equipment in no time flat. This brings us to the Hellhounds, and we have mostly covered everything about them so far, but we'd like to add that their high levels of pain tolerance have made them withstand shots from an Auto Assault 12, a Colt M1911, a Heckler & Koch HK45, an AKM, an MP5K submachine gun, and a Blazer OR-39, as well as an M134 minigun, as seen in the movie as well as the comics. Next, Predator Hounds are a lot slower than the exceptionally fast-moving Hellhounds, and it's followed by another difference that the Hellhounds bleeding red, and this is followed by another difference in that the Hellhounds bleed red with the Predator Hounds bleeding green. Also, while it's a possibility that Predator Hounds have originated from Yautja Prime, we can't say the same thing with conviction when it comes to Hellhounds. And last but not least, the slightly less intelligent Predator Hounds are usually seen working in pairs, while the Hellhounds are always found roaming in packs. Marvellous verdict. Well, that's all for today, and with this we finally come to the end of our video. So did you find Predator: The Last Hunt interesting? What do you think about their terrifying bioweapon? Also, do you fancy Hellhounds more than Predator Hounds? Well, we'd love to know your thoughts in the comments section down below, and we sincerely hope that you have your fill of Predator lore for today. Now, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Please leave a thumbs up and stay tuned with us, because we promise we're going to come back with more exciting content. Till then, goodbye and thanks for watching. Have a good one and be safe.